Can anybody hear me? Last year we had a concert. This year we had a soccer game. So we are still hoping that those that watch the soccer game show up because they promised to come. But we do not care. We are starting now because we have a total of 14 participants who are really eager to share their projects and ideas with you. So welcome to the 11th edition. Believe it or not, I feel like it was yesterday that we did the last year's edition. So yes, it's the 11th edition. And this year we attracted around 78 applications from 10 countries. So we are celebrating this moment of really huge interest and the need that we need to organize as many more events as Let's Pitch Some Shorts is. So something that started quite modest 11 years ago, so now has become not only a professional training platform, but also a safe and inclusive space for the exchange of the diverse points of view, underrepresented voices, but also brave and bold new storytelling. When we collaborate, we do not compete. We also initiate co-productions because this is also what you need to learn from the very beginning, even though you are making your first or third or fourth short. And this is encouraged through wonderful mentorship, but also a wonderful community of peers and very meaningful dialogue. But I'm not alone in this story, so thanks to my dear partners in crime, they already know that it is how I call them. So first of all, I will start with those who are actually here so that you know their faces. Creative Europe Media Desks. So we have Greece, Alexios Tsiakonatis. Please stand up so that people see you. This is Alex. Then from Slovenia, we have Sabina Briški-Karlić. Hello. Nika unfortunately could not make it today. From Arts Council of Malta, we have Daniela Harms. Please stand up. Welcome. But also there are desks in Cyprus, Hungary, Estonia, Montenegro, Serbia, Organization for European Programs of Cultural Relations in Cyprus, Film Center Montenegro, Croatian Audiovisual Centre, and we did manage to bring all of you here. Of course, we needed someone to put all those story ingredients in the right place, right? To share so generously her know-how, and for the 11th time, we have the one and only Roshanak Behesht Nedjad with us. Thank you. She has this ability to support the stories, but also to guide participants in managing to get to their stories the way they want them to be told. So thank you, Roshi, for. I know it was very stressful for you. You're in pre-production, but you managed to come, and we really appreciate from the bottom of our heart. Thank you. This year, we also have an amazing jury. So, for the first time, I would like to welcome Florian Fernandez. You have a long title, so Head of Rendezvous Industry, Short Film Corner, Cinema de Demain, Festival de Cannes. Welcome. Can you also stand up so that people see you? Thank you. Rimante Daugelaite, Head of Baltic Pitching Forum. This is your role here, but of course you're also responsible for Lithuanian Shorts and probably the festival, Vilnius Short Film Festival, so welcome. We have someone who used to be the media desk, but then she switched her career, but now she's going to give awards, so we need her. Esther Kraus, CEO of the International Screen Institute. Someone whom we know from the last year and who probably joined the soccer game tonight on the main square, Adam Selo from Sayonara Film. last but not the least, we have someone who really enjoys participating in Let's Pitch Some Shorts, who is very active, 24 winner of one of the awards, in the 25th year also participated, Kruno Trninić, writer and director. And in addition, so as you can see, it was quite challenging to put all the logos into the already visually tailor-made visual for the Let's Pitch Some Shorts. And I like it like that because I know that we'll have more and more partners joining us in and supporting this project. But what are the awards? So I will start with the first one. Of course, it's the financial award of 3,000 euros for the best project. Then I will quickly go over them. Baltic Pitching Forum will offer online script consultancy and one accreditation in 2026, including 3 nights of accommodation. International Screen Institute Market Ready Program, October 26. Clermont-Ferrand, not present, but offering also one accreditation for the short film market. European Short Pitch, not present, but consulting services. Sayonara Film Expert Guidance on building a festival and distribution strategy. And in collaboration with Rendezvous Industry Short Film Corner, 2 accreditations as a support of 4-day industry events in Cannes. Wait. And the last but not the least, can I have a slide with the award? This is already you are winners and Dport online market supported by Creative Media through innovative business tools and models. It's one unique platform that allows emerging talent, especially when it comes to the shorts, to really connect well, not only in Cannes, but also different events from Baltic Pitching Forum to Clermont-Ferrand and etc. So they will offer all the participants to post their films for free, hosting their films, but also to participate in the next training with a 50% of discount. So this deserves applause, right? As we learned through those days of mentoring, I'm not going to ask you in particular for this question. We need the ingredients of the story. So we're going to go through. Time, place, the rules of the universe, number 1, as Roshi would say it. What else? Main character. Then conflict, right? Then we need some plot. And then, of course, some ending. And we all need to wrap it up in present tense. But what combines all this is all common, right? It's your personal touch, your point of view that distinguishes one story from the other. Bear with me. I don't know, have you heard of Charlie Mackesy? The book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. Anybody? Raise your hand. Okay. This book reminded me of this year's participants. It's a wonderful, not that I call, you can group yourself into different animal sections, but it's a wonderful poetic book that explores diversity. So if I need to put it in a nutshell, it's the power of vulnerability, because asking for help is not giving up, it's refusing to give up. This is what you have done in those 3 days of mentoring. Self-acceptance, simply being yourself, is enough. Kindness above all, because when the mole asks the boy what he wants to be when he grows up, the boy simply answers, kind. So I want to really immensely thank you, because I'm very much privileged and honored that you shared your vulnerability, for being yourself, and for being kind to each other. So this is my big thank you to all of you. So this is a long introduction, just to give you enough momentum to get ready. And can I ask everybody for a big applause before they all go on stage? Woo! It's not easy. It's not easy, not even for me. But we're gonna kick off Okay, and the first one, so it's like a bit of a Eurovision, but in the film sector. I would like to call Tele Dankli, Estonia, and the project Storm in a Teacup. Tele, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay. Right. We have a slide as well. Okay. All right. Hello, so I am Taylor, as mentioned, from Estonia. I'm the director and writer of this film, and I would like to invite you to take a journey back in time with me to Estonia while it was still under Soviet Union rule. The year is 1985, and all across Soviet Union countries there is a problem with excessive alcohol drinking. So the communist leaders in the Soviet Union think they have a brilliant plan to solve this problem by banning alcohol almost completely. They close vineyards, they close alcohol factories, and there's almost no alcohol sales in any of the shops all around the country. But what's most important for you to understand for our story is that it's now against the law to consume or serve alcohol in public events and parties. So, although government bans alcohol drinking, people in Estonia get really, really good at pretending that they absolutely are not drinking any alcohol at all. And they're definitely not making any alcohol at home. So, in the story that's inspired by true events, our main character, Mihkel, is a very sweet-hearted young militia officer. He's on a patrol around this little town, and he goes to a local food shop. Over there, he bumps into Anneli. And Anneli is a beautiful, confident, charismatic young woman. And as soon as Mihkel sees Anneli, he completely crumbles into an insecure teenage boy who is clumsy and unsure of himself and unable to tell his love interest that he's hopelessly in love with her. Anneli is on her way to Estonian wedding, his sister's wedding, which is full of typical Estonian traditions like eating way too much food, dancing and playing lots of really funny, silly games, and absolutely not drinking any alcohol at all. So, at the same time, Mihkel is still doing his patrol, and after a little while, he hears the news that his senior officer, very stern, very unforgiving, Lieutenant Kuznetsov, is around. And he wants to go to investigate that particular wedding with him to see how they are following the law of that new alcohol ban. As they're approaching the wedding venue, the wedding people do see them from the distance already approaching. And just like that, a quick action by the whole crowd in the wedding starts. People are gathering glasses and cleaning up teacups. The two father-in-laws are sitting by the table desperately to try to finish the jelly. And the most drunk people are hidden in a different room by Anneli. So by the time the two officers step into the party room, seemingly the whole event is sober. But Mihkel knows that Kuznetsov is not stupid. And he's very much on a mission to find some alcohol at this event. So Mihkel is faced with a big dilemma. Is he going to follow the rule and do everything his boss, his senior officer requires him to do? Or is he going to risk his job in order to protect Anneli and the people in his community from getting into really big trouble? Kuznetsov goes around the room now and he's sniffing everything in search of alcohol, cups. He opens teapots, investigates suspicious-looking food, while everyone is holding their breath to see what he comes up with. But he finds nothing. So as he's doing his investigation, a really drunk person who was hidden away before managed to enter back in the room. And he's singing now silly songs about the senior officer and is clearly over the top drunk. This makes Kuznetsov really, really angry. And he goes into even a bigger mission mode and starts investigating again somewhere that has to be alcohol. Over across the room, he sees a cheeky old lady sitting in a corner who's very protectively holding onto her teacup. She has an unfocused look in her eyes, and Anneli is kind of getting close to her, and Mihkel is not far behind. So he thinks, right, I'm going to go across the room to her, and there must be something there. He goes through the crowd, and by the time he finally reaches there and picks up the cup and drinks, he again finds nothing. So he gets angry, picks up the wedding cake, which is an uncut, complete wedding cake, and leaves the party, leaving Mihkel behind. Anneli and Mihkel and everyone breathes a sigh of relief, but something has changed between our two lovers. They exchange a look, and Anneli picks up Mihkel's hand, and time freezes and starts reversing back, up to the point where Kuznetsov sees the old lady across the room. Now it goes ahead again, the time, and we see what actually happened behind the senior lieutenant's back. He goes through the crowd, and two little children stop him, asking very silly, funny questions to distract him, giving Mihkel and Anneli time to do something to avoid disaster. Mihkel drinks the alcohol, Anneli replaces the cup with juice, just in time for the Kuznetsov to get there to the old lady. So we know now how that was resolved, but where is the alcohol? The time freezes again and reverses back one more time. And the old lady is now with her cup by the wedding cake. Next to the wedding cake is a radio. The old lady starts turning the knob of the radio, which comes off. She picks up the radio and pours out of the radio alcohol into her cup. The radio is transformed into an alcohol canister. She picks up the cup, looks straight at the camera and says, "Cheers to Estonian people." As the credits run, we see little snippets of images of Anneli and Mihkel going on the first date, having happy moments together, and eventually getting married. So, I'm born in 1985, the time when this film is happening. And my interest in telling the story was all the funny stories that my family have told me of that time. They made me laugh, but also it was always wonderful here how people, against all odds, still found inventive ways to be who they need to be and kind of obey the authorities, which were really pressing on them and their freedoms. But most importantly, I wanted to tell a love story between two people who meet in this situation, and really it changes their lives and their journey together, and Mihkel's journey of having to make hard choices, which we all know how that feels. In terms of production, we have Estonian amazing producer Aili, who could not be here today, but we have a company that we're doing that with, her company. And we have already a set of very well-known, established Estonian actors who are very excited about the script and want to play the parts. We have lots of crew already lined up. Our next step is going to Estonian Film Institute and applying for their funding and cultural funding. But we would absolutely love to also connect with other co-producers from other countries or for different various stages of the production. Thank you for this lovely event and for your attention. Cheers. Do I need to say that? Oh, yeah.
Stay. Hello. So we come to the jury. Who wants to start first? Thank you, Tele. Florian, so you have the mic.
Thanks for your pitch. Maybe I have two different questions. What is the tone of your film in your opinion? Do you think it's more comedy or something like something?
Yeah, it's like a historical satire. So there's definitely comic moments in it, and a lot of it comes from the physical activities of what happening at the wedding, and the sort of interactions between the characters. Yeah, so there's definitely there's comic definite elements. So this I think we were discussing is like romantic drama and historic satire mix there. Yeah.
And the second question is like, how do you think this story can resonate nowadays, and why you want to tell it now?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think there's maybe a more heightened interest now as well in the sort of olden times of when Russia and Soviet Union times was happening because of what's happening in the world. But I think young love kind of stories are always really lovely. And talking to people at festivals previously, they are saying they really would love to see more comedy. They would love to see more romantic stories. And my previous film was a really hard-hitting human trafficking drama. So I really wanted to make something lighter, but I wanted to also contrast the lighter theme of a wedding and love story with something quite dark, which is the oppression of the people and the power, really restricting people's freedom. And I think the fighting against authority is something that is always kind of relevant, no matter what. And I was telling the stories of the alcohol ban time to my friends around the world, and they always found it very funny, any ages of people. So that's also what inspired me to actually write the story, because I've been telling the stories to others that my family told me. Yes.
Thank you. Rimante?
Yeah, well, thank you for the pitch. A great kickoff of today. Yeah, I have a question actually, because at the end you said that, well, it's a love story, but before that you were talking a lot about the alcohol, which seemed to be very central element of the film. So I'm just curious, you know, what is the, let's say, the connection, you know, between the love story as the central, I guess, point of the story, and then this alcohol thing.
Yeah, so alcohol in the throughout the story is the backdrop and just a tool. So it's kind of, if you imagine maybe the government bans sugar and cakes, I guess it would be the same kind of thing. People would find a way around it. So it's just what happened that time, and it's the backdrop of it. But really, the main characters is definitely, it's between those relationships, and also very much in the script and film you'll feel the whole community coming together and acting like in one organism to kind of just solve that problem and that issue. Obviously there's no genre like alcohol film anyway, so it's a romantic drama for that reason. Yeah, on a couple of levels, the community love for each other and the support, and the two people's relationship as well there. Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else? Esther?
Thank you very much for this pitch. I liked how very descriptive you visualized some of the scenes. It was very much fun, and I had them going on in my head already. I would like to know a bit more about you. Is this your first short film? Are you working on other projects? Are you focusing on shorts? And also maybe about the production company that you're working with. Is it an experienced, established one? What are their...
Yeah, sure, of course. So I'm from Estonia, but I studied filming in England, hence my accent, many years ago. And I started off doing music videos. I've done over 20 music videos, and I've done 5 short films. I'm right now developing my first feature film, which I filmed quite a few scenes for already, sort of pilot scenes for. And as I mentioned, my last short film was a 28-minute, very hard-hitting drama, which did really well around the world, and I got some awards for best director and different things for the script. And I'm doing a lot of script writing, and yeah, I'm still going to make some shorts, but I'm also heading now towards longer formats as well. In terms of the production company, it's an Estonian company. They're fairly new as a company, but the producer who runs it has done a lot of things before. She was a producer for one of the Estonia's biggest advertising companies, but then wanted to go more into longer format, and she's about to have her first documentary with lots of dramatic elements come out. She produces a lot of documentaries, me and her working on a lot of projects together, the long and short form things. Yeah, so she's experienced, definitely.
Thank you. Adam, maybe you, or yes? Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes. Hello. Thank you very much. My question is about your vision. So how do you envision the visual style of your film? It's more about a nostalgic view, satire, or realism?
Okay, so the color style is probably a little bit like the picture there, sort of nostalgic colors and sort of faded effect, but it's going to be very playful and warm. So although, because the wedding is a very hopeful, happy event, that really informs the color palette and the feel of it. But in terms of even the camera work, it's going to be quite a lot of movement and playfulness, because the wedding and the whole thing is happening, there's a lot of movement in it. So the plan is, especially when the two officers get to the wedding, until the time stops, everything is happening in one take, like almost a stage play that we practice a lot with the people. Because then your eye, same as the character's eye, is only pointed in one direction. So when we start later going back in time revealing things, it's much more interesting to find out what happened. I have a lot of experience with directing actors already, and also I have a huge background in dance and choreography, and so I'm really confident with being able to do that. I also have worked as a DOP. I do a lot of editing, so I understand really well what I have in my head and how to visualize it. But yeah, so obviously with comedy is always really tricky with balancing the acting and the timing of it and all. But yeah, the actors we have on board, they're so funny and really amazing comedic actors. So I'm really excited to see how that turns out too. Hope that answered your question.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm just mingling. Thank you, Tele.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Applause. Just a second. I realized that the only name, and you can leave it next to you so that it's useful for the later. I haven't introduced myself. This is the only name I couldn't read in my paper. So for those who don't know me, I'm Martina Petrovic, so I'm the head of Creative Europe Media Desk Croatia, so just so that you know you're in the right place. Yes, so we go on. The second project comes from Slovenia, and the title is Bloody Honor, and we have with us writer-director Juri Drevenšek. Woo!
Hello. Okay, let's continue with something light. Benjamin Netanyahu, Erdogan, Aleksandar Vučić, Janez Janša, Viktor Orban, Herbert Kickl, Andrej Babiš, Mateusz Morawiecki, Giorgia Meloni, Alice Weidel, Geert Wilders, Nigel Farage, Vladimir Putin, Donald Trump. People who are telling us all the time and every day how we should live, who we should love, how we should think. But this is not a film about them. This is a film about 5 boys who are very attracted to the ideas that those people share. So, we're on a train with a group of 5 boys, aged 16 to 19. They're on their way to a neo-Nazi rally in Germany. They are Slovenians. They are 16 years old, they are teenagers, and all they do is they want to go there because they want to learn and find out about good practices and bring them back home in Slovenia. They are full of life, as teenagers are. They talk about music, about girls, about having sex, first kisses, about snacks they brought with, about their family, and so on. The atmosphere is light and up, 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 up. One of them is texting all the time the German neo-Nazis where they are, so the Germans could meet them at the end and take them to the rally. So as the end train approaches, they're getting excited, they're starting to dress in new clothes, putting some deodorant and so on, but the Germans surprise them. And then they attack them on the train and come on the train 1 station earlier. They're caught by surprise and they attack them. They get beaten up, and only by sheer surprise they get to escape the train, and by coincidence there is another train waiting on the same platform. They see it, they said, okay, this is our way to escape. They go, but only 4 of them get to embark. 1 is left behind. So 4 friends see that 1 is left on the station. They go and they're still in panic. What will happen with our friend? What's going on? Where are we now? So they decide that the best solution is they get off the train at the next station. They try to call their friend, but the phone isn't answering, of course. So they're running around new streets in a new town. They don't know where they are, how to find. The panic starts to set in. They're disappointed. They're beaten up. The conflict starts between them. Whose fault is it? Why did it happen? What does everything mean? And they stumble across a bus station. One of them gives the idea that it's maybe best that they go on the bus and return. There's nothing else to do. They cannot go to the police, and the Germans are looking for them. So they are all afraid that they are going to get beaten up again. They're at the front of the bus, but they say, okay, let's try it one more time. They ring the friend, the phone answers. And there's a German neo-Nazi on the other side who says, 4 boys, where are you? We wanted to dance with you as well, so we're going to find you, or what are you going to do? Ashamed, beaten up, with their illusions broken, they embark the bus, sit in the last row. They're disappointed. Their ideals of what will happen are totally shattered. They expected a father figure in the end who would embrace them, who would tell them, hey, you're okay, you're one of us. But that didn't happen. They just got a big slap. They're sitting on the bus alone in their thoughts. They don't know what will happen between their relationships, what will happen with them, and they go on. They left the only friend behind. They're talking about unity all the time, but at the first chance they got, they forgot about a friend. They're sitting there, and on the intercom, the bus, we hear the voice of a bus driver who says, the next stop for peeing will be in Munich. It will only last 20 minutes. From then on, we continue our journey through Salzburg, Villach, Ljubljana, Zagreb, and Zagreb Airport to Belgrade. I want to do this film because we all see the dark clouds that are approaching in our times. We all see that the simple solutions for big problems are changing our lives rapidly. And I'm in the stage of my life, now I'm in the stage in my life where I think that art should reflect what's happening. I'm also not naive. I know a short film won't change the course of history, but maybe it will give somebody a spark or something, or give a reflection that that another view, another ironic view of the whole thing is possible. Where are we now? I have a Slovenian renowned producer. We will apply for the funds at the Slovenian Film Center. We are thinking that 50,000 euros should be enough. Then, of course, the next step will be applying for international co-productions. The film is planned, the duration of the film is planned approximately at 15 minutes. And that's it for now. Thank you for your attention.
The mic, yeah? Is it working? Yeah. So, let's start with Kruno.
Hi, thank you for the introduction to your film. And I'll tell you why I'm asking this, but I want to start with why is a group central? Why does your film center on protagonists, 5 or 4 of them, rather than just a group of 2? Is there a reason why you wanted to center your film on such a broad group of protagonists? Why do you think it's important to tell this story with 5 boys?
Thank you for the question. I was thinking about that as well when I was writing, because of the fact that I think those boys can be more themselves in a group. They're in a one way similar, but they cannot, because they're poaching each other all the time, making jokes, so their characters do come out, also their relationships, their friends. But at the same point, those are young boys. Those are young boys, and I wanted them to go together as a group, because I think we can then see their innocence in that sense. I don't want to portray already hard-made criminals at the age of 16. No, that's why I wanted them. And the big philosophical themes that 16-year-old boys talk between them all the time are not so great. So I wanted to make them relaxed, and I wanted to make them that they are full of life, full of esprit. Yeah.
So the reason I'm asking is with the start and with a lot of the story, really, I found a lot of parallels between the short that I pitched here 2 years ago. It's not at all in the sense that it's the same story, not even close, but the same themes and the themes of extremism in young men. So I'm just going to briefly tell you what happened to me. I centered the story around 6 boys that at one point of the story turned into 5. It's now gone through editing. It's 27 minutes. And the first time that I watched the film, I was like, these are the scenes that I've written, but I did not connect to any of my characters because they were always in a group, and I presented them as a group, and I really didn't give the audience one single character to attach themselves into. And I keep getting that this large group of protagonists works better in a feature film, because especially you said in the end that it's 15 minutes. So I think that it's interesting to tell the story about people on, say, the wrong side of morality, the wrong side of history, but to really get to them, if you want maybe young Slovenian boys, young Croatian boys, to one day see this film and see where they're heading, I would encourage you to think about centering on 1 or 2 specific people, just because in the span of a short, I thought that, I'm going to write a scene where these people are going to be, happy, talk about sex, be funny, and that the audience is going to connect to them in the first scene. I found myself struggling to connect with them 25 minutes in, just because there's a lot of them. So I would encourage you, before you produce the short, because I would love to see more of the shorts on this theme, just to think about maybe downsizing your protagonists so that you can tell the story on scale of 1 or 2 characters, because from personal experience, in the short form, your audience is going to connect with them much easier than just having their attention roam around between 5 characters who represent an idea, represent a group, but it's so much more broader, and you really need to connect with 1 or 2 characters in a short for you to have the impact. So that's just my 2 cents. But I really liked the themes, and I really enjoyed the internationality of the story. I see, chance for co-productions as well, and I think more stories like this should be told. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kruno.
May I just reply quickly?
Yes.
Thank you for your remarks. I will take them in consideration for sure. I was asking myself the same question. Why should I watch a film about 5 angry neo-Nazi, let's put it in quotes, boys? So I decided to change the perspective. That's why for a long time we don't know what they are. For a long time we just see young boys full of life, full of energy, full of, let's say, simple thoughts, full of everyday conversations. And from now and then, as just a replica comes in, so when they are, what, so you as a viewer, it's like watching a TV, something does and then you figure out who you are. And at the end, so because I also want to be connected to my characters, I want to see them, I want to go with them, but then at the end when I find out what they are, I kind of, also think, yeah, it's okay what happened. As yes and no, so, but I will take it in to...
Thank you, Kruno. Anybody else? Florian?
Yeah, maybe to extend the question on the characters, it's a very masculine point of view and male-oriented perspective, I would say. So how do you think that every kind of viewer can really connect with the journey of your protagonist?
I think because that's the reality we are living in. I go through the park where I live in my town. Only young boys are sitting together, and they're the ones, they are sharing around the extremist point of view. This is what's happening. Young boys today, 18 from now on, even by the researchers, are the ones who are getting more and more radical and radical and radical. So, as I see them from my own perspective, when there are women involved, they're usually, I'm sorry to say, but it's a very patriarchal community. So what, to have somebody just there just to be an ornament? I wouldn't say so. So that's why I oriented on them. Because even though if they're in between, just in a group of of boys, they can be without filters among them. That for me was the catch.
Can I have one more?
Yes, Rimante.
About the audience, so we see teenagers. What is your audience of this film? Is it young adults? And another question is, what is the emotional experience that you want to leave the audience with this film?
To answer the first part of your question, I would really love if young people could get the chance to see the movie. That would be my first. Then the secondary audience, I would say the parents of those young teenagers. The emotional output you get from this film, first of all, I think it's a little bit ironic for 5 Slavic boys want to go to Germany to do. I think that's the irony of itself. But otherwise, it's like I said, I'm not naive. It's not a relief that what will happen, but at one point it's not sticking it in the eye, but it's what we see in the world. So that's in that sense, it's okay. Here we are. We're not turning away. Yeah. Sometimes it is like this. Yeah. Those stories happen.
Yeah. Adam or Esther, do you have any questions or? No? Okay. Thank you, Yuri.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, tu ću ga staviti. So, we go to the third project. And the third project is the Maltese one. And I kindly invite Angelique Müller to present I Wanna Be Your Dog.
So good morning. My name is Angelique Müller and I am a French filmmaker based in Malta. I've made my last 2 films in France as a director in 2021-2022 and 2 films in Malta in 2023 and 2025 as a producer. I Want to Be Your Dog is set in contemporary Malta against the backdrop of the housing crisis. It is the story of a stray dog, part pit bull, part a dozen other dogs, let's just say a bastard. He's in search of food, love, and belonging, like most of us. But life keeps on rejecting him. When we meet him, he's nameless. He's scavenging for food in a park. That's where he meets Jake and Chris. They're 20-something, 2 incidental flatmates. Jake has just been kicked out of his apartment by a greedy landlord who's just doubled his rent overnight. And he's supposed to crash on Chris's couch until he finds a new home. Now Jake is immediately taken by the dog. He names him Elvis, gives him food, and convinces Chris to take him home. Chris reluctantly accepts, worried that his landlord and neighbor Marge will fear for the life of our beloved little white poodle, Fluffy. Now, despite the tension, a fragile bond forms between the 2 dogs at Marge's despair. Now, Fluffy is the cute one, right? Overwhelmed by his new world amongst humans, Elvis slowly adapts. He learns how to sit, he learns how to give his paw, he learns how to eat when told. Slowly accepting the comfort of captivity and choosing it over his freedom, to the point that he even starts dreaming he's becoming a human himself. However, the dream slowly turns into nightmare the day he sees the gardener bury something in the backyard. That night, Chris wakes up screaming in the middle of the night to Fluffy's little dead body stuck on his face, on his pillow. Now convinced that Elvis is the culprit, he kicks the dog out, despite Jake's pleas, the dog barking outside the gate the whole night. What follows is an ill-equipped attempt at covering the murder, right? Making it look like the dog has died a natural death. So here they go. They wash Fluffy's body, they brush the hair, they dry it, and prop it back in front of Marge's door in its little basket, as if nothing's happened. Of course, it backfires. The next day, when Marge opens her door and sees her dead dog in her basket, she collapses. Now ambulances are here. Now Chris, of course, accuses Jake of having killed Marge, and he is kicked out. Elvis is super happy to see his new master joining him back in the streets, but now Jake turns his back to Elvis and throws a stone at him. Back inside, the gardener buries Fluffy for the second time. He's flabbergasted. He can't understand how the little dog that he's seen die of old age in Marge's arm the previous night with his own eyes has managed to come out of his grave. That same night, as Marge is being wheeled back home, safe and sound, Elvis, who's been waiting outside the gate, takes the opportunity to slip back in. He digs out the freshly buried corpse, takes it in his mouth, runs back up, jumps through Chris's window, plants it back on the bed, comes out empty-mouthed, and he waits, and he waits. And just as Iggy Pop's punk anthem echoes through the night, Chris screams, now having taken his revenge on the humans that betrayed him Elvis gallops through the night, reclaiming his freedom and wilderness. I should probably sing the song now, but I'll spare you this. So, I Want to Be Your Dog is a 20-minute urban fable about the cost of belonging and the absurdity of class. It echoes with Jean de La Fontaine, The Wolf and the Dog, with the hungry wolf who enjoys freedom and the fed dog who is being held captive. Although it does have surreal moments, it's deeply grounded in social realism, with the dogs being a direct metaphor for their human counterparts. The visual language of the film is based on an interplay of perspectives. On the one hand, the dog view will be very dynamic, with very low angles, very specific close-ups, and a heightened soundscape to highlight the sensory world of the dog. It will contrast with the human view, which will be captured in wider frames, more balanced and composed and traditional framing. We've acquired 35,000 euros from the Arts Council of Malta. Thank you, Daniela. I can't see you, but I know you're here. It represents about 40 to 50% of the budget. And we're now looking for co-production and broadcast, since my last two films were acquired by TV. We have secured the rights to Iggy Pop's song. We have started working with a talented DP, and we've also started working with a local dog trainer in Malta. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelique. And now the jury. Who would like to start? Who, Florian, or where is the mic?
You briefly talked about the sound design of the film and how. Can you tell us more about how it will sound like in more the sonic universe of the film?
Like we really want to work on like very specific, the dog's perspective is always quite macro, so the dog is able to hear an ant cross the street, while when we've switched back to human view, everything will be much wider and further, right? So the whole perspective of the dog, sound and visual, is heightened, closer, more visceral.
Okay. Rimante?
Yeah, I have a question about the tone of the film. You already mentioned some keywords. If you could elaborate on this, so it's one thing. And also, okay, I forgot already. So if you could answer this, and then
yeah, the tone for me is dark humor. It's definitely dark humor. I think we don't laugh enough.
And could you tell us more about your production company? What is the experience of the production company? What projects do you work on?
I don't own a production company myself, so it's Malta is quite particular. So I've been producing for companies. The last film I produced was a feature film shot on 16mm for Here On In, which premiered in Cairo in last November. But I've been producing for different companies. Yeah.
But for this particular film, you have a production company or not yet?
So in Malta, to be eligible for the film fund, you don't need to own a company per se.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adam?
I noticed that one of your references is Amores Perros. That's one of my favorite films in the history of cinema. In which sense this film represent for you a reference, in a visual or in which sense?
It's also the grittiness and the raw element of the film. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Esther?
Thank you very much. It's a intriguing story. You mentioned that you were planning this as a co-production. Do you have particular countries in mind? Who do you think could be a suitable co-producer? You mentioned the dark humor, so that's probably a very particular kind of humor that maybe not everyone from everywhere would understand.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, my last two films had the French producers on board, so I do hope we will extend that collaboration, of course. Although, yes, the humor is maybe more specific to the Brits or the Belgians, who are the, French with a sense of humor.
Or Austria, I might add.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Angelique.
Thank you.
So now we move to Montenegro. The title of the project is Nothing Bad About the Dead. And ladies and gentlemen, Matija Jovanovic, writer and director, is going to present.
So, hi everyone. What happens when a former writer at the funeral has to say something nice about the person he despises? My film, Nothing Bad About the Dead, starts with that question. But the impulse for this film is very personal. When I was in high school, I attended a funeral on a remote mountain. My father, a former writer who published one remarkable book of poetry long time ago and then, of course, gave up and became a carpenter, was suddenly asked that day to write and deliver eulogy for a relative he truly loved. What stayed with me was not the speech itself, but the absurd process of writing it. He was hiding from everyone by literally lying in the bushes. Like he was in the trenches during a war. And all that because he really, really, really didn't want to do the eulogy. What made me want to make this film is this absurdity combined with the tragedy of losing someone loved. Then I thought, why not make it worse for my protagonist, Vlatko? Let's have him make a eulogy for someone he hates, his recently deceased aunt. And it's exactly from that reversal that both the dark humor and the pain of this film come. Both my father and Vlatko are in an egoistic and fragile way trapped by the fact that people see them as someone who know how to put a sentence together, but actually they have no clue about what they're doing. The film starts in a big forest on a remote mountain. In it, we see a few nervous family members desperately searching for someone. I want the audience to think at first that they are looking for a runaway bride. But very soon we discover that they are looking for Vlatko, a 40-year-old former writer, now an electrician, who gets up for a nearby bush and continues running away from the funeral of his hateful aunt. In the woods, he is found by his younger sister, who is pregnant and exhausted. She reminds him that when she once tried to run away from her own wedding, he was the one who convinced her to go back. Now she expects the same, that he also comes back and fulfill his duty, so the family will not be shamed. Vlatko gives in and accepts his fate. During the final funeral rituals, it becomes clear that the dead aunt still controls the family through her absurd wish to be buried in a place that is very hard to reach, and through the expectation that Vlatko, apparently the only writer in the family history, must write and deliver a beautiful eulogy for her. When he finally stands in front of the coffin, Vlatko begins the speech in a calm and a generic way. But then he sees his sister, dragged around by her children, ignored by her husband, and taken for granted by the family as someone who will endure everything. At that moment, the eulogy gradually moves away from the dead woman and starts addressing his sister. Only then, after a decade of creative block, does Vlatko finally manage to say something truthful and valuable. The speech that is nothing good said about the dead. He openly and brutally says everything he really thinks about his aunt, while the quiet murmuring among the relatives turns into open confrontation and chaos. Vlatko and his sister exchange a barely noticeable smile. The project is currently in early development and has been conceived as a Montenegrin and Serbian co-production. My producer, Jovana Jovicic from Lucha Production in Belgrade, could not be here with us today. But we are now looking for regional and international co-producers and creative partners who can help us bring the project to life. In September, we will apply to the Film Center of Montenegro for a production funding. We are also planning for the lead role to be played by Goran Bogdan, a renowned and award-winning European actor from Croatia. So in that case, Croatia would naturally be the first and most logical step in co-production structure. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's move to the jury. Who?
Thank you for the
Imante?
pitch. Sounds to be international universal story, but could you, if I would ask about the main message of your film, what would be the main message about your story?
It's like breaking the some toxic authoritarian family patterns while in the same time breaking the writer block. Like combination of that kind of theme.
Kruno?
Thank you. Could you talk a bit about your approach to directing? I got a hint of it when you said that you want to start as if it's a chase sequence, and how much of that genre bending will impact the tone. What do you want the audience journey to be as well emotionally throughout the film?
Yeah, I want the directorial approach will be based in portraying the small gestures and tension between the relatives, like whispering, murmuring, and all of that in combination with wide shots and slow paneling, pan-camera movement. Something like the modern Romanian cinema in combination with some rural Montenegrin mountains and environment.
Thank you. Also, are you familiar with the Netflix animated show BoJack Horseman?
Yeah, I watched a couple episodes, but I didn't.
Do you know the episode that... okay, so there's an episode in season 4, season 5. It's called Free Churro, and it's about the main character delivering a eulogy for someone that they hate. So it actually works as a standalone episode. You should watch it.
I didn't watch that, but thank you.
Anybody else? Adam?
Hello. Always about the final eulogy. I didn't get if you want to do it cathartic, cruel, or ironic.
Cathartic and cruel. The transformation from film will be, with some ironic distance, and slowly we approaching to that cathartic moment between him and his sister.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Florian?
Yeah, maybe a more general question, but I haven't heard about your background, so I'll be interested in hearing what you've been doing before this one.
I was filmed some couple of 4 short student films, 1 professional short film, and now currently I develop a future project and working on 2 TV shows, 1 sitcom and 1 crime TV show.
Also, the visual you used behind you are quite mesmerizing. What do they come from?
AI.
Okay. Good, well done, AI.
We're done? Yeah? Oh, you want to... No, please, Esther, sorry.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to do a little comment. What I loved about your pitch is the point that I did not see coming is when the relationship to the sister opens this heartwarming aspect of the story. I just wanted to share that this is where you got me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So thank you, Matija.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, we have some traffic going on. Next one is Croatia. So I invite 3 ladies, Timne Tomiše, writer-director, Karla Lulić, producer, and Jelena Mađarić, producer. You all want to have a mic? Yeah. If it's possible.
So, hi, my name is Timne, and I'm a writer and director of Reverse Cowgirl. And I bet some of you are now sitting a little bit more uneasy in your seats, which makes me not the only nervous person here. So let's start with addressing the elephant in the room. If you were to take out your phones now and type in cowboy into your search engines, most probably the result would be something like an animal wrangler who herds cattle on ranches, usually on horseback. If you type in cowgirl, the results are a little bit different. And now I'm here to disappoint you and tell you that we will not be talking about any sexy stuff, even though A Dirty Mind is a lifetime of joy. We will talk at first about something I like to call a glitter western, which is a western packed with elements of all we usually consider cliché girly aesthetic. Pink, glitter, tassels, sugar, spice, and everything nice. It's a short vigilante story following a reclusive teenager who is obsessed with westerns, and her only wish in the world is to be a cowboy, like the heroes of her films. She wants to be rebellious, mischievous, free, and above all, powerful. And her wish does come true when one night, out of nowhere, she's delivered a silver revolver to her doorstep. Not only is it the missing piece in her whole cowboy setup, it also has a unique property. When she holds it in the palm of her hand, it rotates on its own, the barrel of the gun pointing to a specific direction like a compass needle. This takes her on a nighttime journey where she follows the gun, and the gun points her to places where men are about to perpetrate gender-based abuse and violence. Violence or crimes against women. Empowered with the magical revolver, she decides to step in and help women in trouble. Her approach is an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Punishment fits the crime. So for an example, when a man catcalls a group of women on the street, she uses a makeshift lasso, ties him to a lamppost, and stuffs his mouth with her bandana. As the revolver leads her further on, so does the severity of the crimes she encounters. Also the punishment. Meanwhile, everywhere she goes, in certain moments, she notices a mysterious figure of a cowboy who always appears, but then also always disappears at a most opportune moment for himself whenever our cowgirl needs the most help. Towards the end of the film, she crashes a house party and notices that a man is about to rape a girl in the bathroom, she steps in and shoots off his genitals. She and the girl flee the scene, run away out of the building, and our cowgirl at first makes sure that the attacked girl gets safely into a taxi. The girl drives away, and our cowgirl now finally has a little moment to breathe, where she noticed at the end of the street, who? The cowboy. And now what starts as a classical Western shootout, or what we think is going to be a classical Western showdown, they start approaching each other. They're getting closer, tension is rising, they are inches away. He stretches out his arm, tucks away a flock of her hair behind her ear. She holds his hand, in which she's still holding a revolver sticky with blood. She leans in even closer, and at this point you think, oh my God, worst film ever, they're about to kiss. Horrible. Cringe fest. But then, poof, she disappears into a cloud of glittery fog, leaving him alone, holding the bloodied gun in his hands, with the most flabbergasted expression on his face, looking like a complete fool. We hear the sound of sirens in the background, and this is where our story ends. This film is a sort of an ode to my grandmother, who was a very big Western fan, or as she liked to call them, cowboy films, which I often watched with her as a child. I have then sadly later on learned that she was a survivor of sexual abuse, and this film is a little slice of justice for her and women like her who never got to have it in real life.
So, as producers, as this is work, as producers, we love to work with Timne as she approaches gender-based violence in a way we haven't seen before. She uses glittery Western to flip traditional genre codes and she creates a powerful reversal perspective. Reverse Cowgirl is a 15-minute short film with no dialogue.
The budget is 100,000 euros, and we are just starting our financing process. And this fall, we are going to apply for production support at Croatian Audiovisual Centre, and we can secure up to 70,000 euros. We are looking for additional financing and co-producers, and we are planning to shoot at the end of next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Okay, so now we move to the jury. Kruno.
Well, first of all, thank you for the pitch. I am so happy to see more of genre films in our cinema. I think it's one of the utmost things that our filmography, the filmography of Croatia needs. And glitter western as a concept is really engaging. So thank you. I am just wondering, and I was hoping to hear a bit more about your experience as producers, as a director. What have you done, and what do you see this, glitter western as a thing that you would want to do feature-wise as well? So yeah, I really want to know more about you guys.
Okay, is it okay I go first? So I don't have traditional filmmaking education as a director. I studied at the Gerrit Rietveld Academy in Amsterdam, as in my official title is Bachelor of Fine Arts in Audiovisual Arts, whatever that means. But in school, I was at the Time Media department, and we were educated as fine artists, but we could choose our own medium. So at some point, because everything was a little bit frilly-nilly for me at the school, I decided to focus on making films only and learn everything myself. I've done a couple of music, so I graduated with a short film from there, which had quite a similar production design as to what I hope to achieve with Cowgirl as well. But I was young and inexperienced and spent all of my money on getting those sets up and lights to be beautiful, and didn't do anything for practicing with actors and so on and so forth. I have matured in the meanwhile, having directed. I have 2 shorts now that are self-funded in post-production. I've done several music videos. I also worked as an art director for Mercedes-Benz at an advertising agency. Left that life, freelance now. And I'm also developing my first feature together with the girls, which is an adaptation of a book called Sloboština Barbie, or Barbie Art Underground, as I literally grew up in Sloboština, not at the same time as the book. Okay, now I'm sidetracking, sorry. But yeah, this is my experience. This film, specifically this story, I would not be expanding into a feature, because how I've written it, it works as a compact thing, but genre itself would definitely be something that I would like to build upon further in different variations, and let's see how it goes.
Yeah, and that's a perfect point to also continue with her. We were mesmerized by Timna's work, as we are a company based in Croatia that is called Dobar Film, and in translation, good film. So we are specializing in genre films. This is how we also fell in love with Timna's work, because her first feature that she is developing is also really corresponding to our catalog. We have 2 feature films, one in preparation and one in development, both genre films. One is actually a remake, you will maybe know, Leptirica from 73. So we are making a contemporary take, taking a female perspective. We also have another feature that is like a dark romance about a professional mourner, and we also develop 2 TV series that we got the funding from Croatian Audiovisual Centre. Also, for the feature, it is funded by media. And the two series are also, one is teen mystery series that we presented in Tallinn, and one is Dear Insects and Other Creepy Stories. It's kind of dark anthology humor that we won award in Torino last year. Yes. So we are completely also in this wagon, but we are really fans. Jelena and me, we work as producers, collaborators, and we are really in love with genre cinema, and we grew up with it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's great to hear.
Rimante.
Thank you for the pitch. I was really impressed by the story and the social themes that will be told and visualized through the genre elements. So it's really very original, I have to say. Looking forward for the final result. I have one small question. You said the film will be without dialogues. Why?
Because even though, if you get to know me better, I'm a bit of a chatty Cathy, I would like to actually have it somehow, this whole world, almost synthetic, so that we also don't have any influences of culture, creed, because these are things that happen everywhere worldwide, so it also has to not to take away of any magic of the world. But I just see it also somehow more powerful, envisioned through no dialogue, very well thought through music and sound design, and the way of acting that supports stories that are without dialogue. So yeah, but the main decision was basically to like strip it away of anything that could bring people apart, or point to cultural differences, or what happens, like how things happen differently in the world and so on, because no matter in which way this violence against women happens, it does happen, and it's not something that happens only in a land somewhere far, far away. It unfortunately happens all over the world in all sorts of societies. And somehow when I was younger, I thought the older I get, it would be a less of a problem, but somehow it's becoming more and more of a problem.
And also, Timna is very, very skillful in writing in images. As you can see, she has a very strong artistic vision. So sometimes I think that maybe dialogue could even like get in a way. And also, this makes the film even more with more potential to travel better across borders, across nations, and really have distribution potential.
Adam?
Hello. Very nice speech. And how do you think to manage and update the codes of this genre that is the Western? And which are your main references in the history of cinema of this kind of a genre? And one of the most important things in Western, I think, is the code of the locations. So, where do you think to shoot this film to recreate a Western?
Yeah, so it wouldn't necessarily take that aspect of Westerns, meaning location. It's not going to be happening in a desolate desert in the middle of nowhere, but how I would like to create the world that also then goes also together with the choice of no dialogue is to have a stylized world that then also looks like it could be anywhere, which is also where it's a city, pretty nondescript. We don't really need to know where we are at that point in the world, but I would like to achieve this atmosphere through like a slow burn pace, soundtrack very much, sound design. Those are more of the aspects from Western that I like to concentrate on, and then also sometimes like dropping in really those known, imagery, like, shoot off through the legs, silhouettes, guns being drawn, it's not also focused. So what I would like to be honest about, I myself am not a particular fan of Westerns. However, I have watched so many with my grandmother that it was just a natural choice to incorporate it. But I do know the iconographic imagery used, and it would play upon that. Then also, Roshi will now kill me, but like elements of Giallo horror, like Dario Argento style, this kind of light choices and so combined, so that also the world that I hopefully create becomes something of its own.
Yes, as in she uses these tropes, these genre tropes of Western very smart and in a fun way also.
Okay, thank you very much.
Gloria?
Congrats for the pitch. It was a very lively one. Very basic question, but what are your needs in the 12 next months? You told about the timeline a bit with the funding that you are waiting from Croatia, but what are your needs like in the coming year, and do you plan to refine the script even like in early 2027?
Yes, so as for the Croatian Audiovisual Centre, the application is in fall. The results come in end of the year. As 70,000 euros is quite sum for the short film, we are pretty confident that we can build the financial structure quite quickly. So the gap of a remaining gap of 30,000 will start immediately to be fulfilled in the beginning of the 2027. So we can wrap up the financing and start shooting hopefully in the second part of 2027. And in the meantime, Timna is very hardworking. This is also why we love to work with her. She always dives into the story, into the script. She is very clear in her interior. She is really she knows her story so well that with her intentions and everything, she really surprises us how deep she really goes and how she loves this story. So she is definitely will be working still on the script to polish it and to actually be able to prepare it for our co-production funds in the early next year, so we can finish it smoothly. Yeah.
Esther?
Thank you very much. I can't wait to see it. And you present such a really full ready package, I would say. And I love how you not only reinterpret the genre, but you make it your own. And this is, it's like a innovative deconstruction of patriarchy that I just love. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That really means a lot. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, ladies. And the applause. We leave it here. Yeah, thank you. Our next project comes from Hungary. There is a lot of traffic in this tiny passage, so I kindly ask Balint Erkel and Evelyn Balok. The project here, once in a lifetime. And we have the microphones, yeah?
1, 2.
And you go.
One. I vividly remember the day that my dad died. And, well, let's just say it wasn't the best day of my life. But still, there was something beautiful about how my family came together to show support and compassion to one another in this difficult time. And that lasted exactly one day before instead we started killing each other over what the burial and the tombstone should look like and who gets what from the inheritance. And I really, really wish I knew how to stop that. My name is Balint Erkel, and I'm presenting Once in a Lifetime, which is a 20-minute coming-of-age drama infused with dark comedy. And the hero of this story is Mark. He's 20 years old, and he's sort of the black sheep of the family. One night he wakes up to learn that his father has passed away, but the family forgot to wake him. His brother is already focused on the inheritance, his mom is looking for the best plan for the burial, and the body is about to be taken away. And this makes Mark really angry and scared. He wants to steal a moment with his father, so he convinces his reluctant family to let him dress the body for the burial. He feels lost at first among all the black and gray suits, but then an idea hits him. He selects a set of clothes, but they're not what everyone would expect. They're all torn and stained, old street clothes. A shirt with a stain of wine from a night when they got too drunk in Italy. A pair of pants with a tear from a wedding that they already missed. And a tacky tie that the father got from his children, but he never wore. Except that these memories are remembered differently by everyone. So now a fierce battle erupts in the family over who knew the father more and who cared for him more. While the grandmother still insists on the wedding suit and the doctor is suggesting cremation. Mark is devastated. He just made everything worse now. So he escapes the room and locks himself up with the father to steal this final moment of peace. But the family is quick to follow. They break down the lock and they pour into the room. We see this last moment from above. The family gathers around the bed where Mark is in an embrace with his father. At this moment, the family stops arguing and they silently start doing their task so they can finally say goodbye to the father with grace. Once in a Lifetime is a mix of these warm, intimate moments, but also absurd and lighthearted comedy, delivered truthfully, I think, because I stole many of these moments straight from the chaos of my own family life. I know these moments from quite close, and I want the camera to show that. I want to be really close to Mark at the beginning, and as the family fractures, I want to gain some distance and explore every bickering family member, the strong-willed grandma, the sister who's had enough, the overeager undertakers, and even this old creaking house, almost as if the camera were the ghost of the dead father. It's a very personal story, obviously, but I think it's also distinctly Eastern European in the sense that it carries this bitter irony and this drifting cinematic style. But I believe that underneath it talks about something urgent and universal. The way we're losing connection to one another, ideologies breaking up entire nations, friendships and families.
As filmmakers who grew up watching these fractures deepen, now we become a new generation searching for ways to reconnect through these divides. By developing Once in a Lifetime as a co-production, we hope to make it a film that reflects on the value of collaboration itself, just as a family would reconnect after some troubled times. Hi, my name is Evelyn Balog. I'm one of the producers working with Balint, who has a very, very clear vision of this story and a rare sensitivity to make it a unique film. Once in a Lifetime is already being developed as a Hungarian-Romanian co-production with cast and crew coming from both sides. The shooting will take place in Hungary, hopefully in next year May, and we have an estimated budget of around 82,000 euros with several in-kind services already secured. However, we are still looking for a co-producer to join us in the post-production. We hope that the connections that we build throughout this project will set the foundation for future collaborations, especially now that the Hungarian Film Fund, after the recent political shift, is about to announce a new call in October, after almost 6 years where filmmaking seemed impossible. In this new system, we have very high chances of securing the fund and get a fresh start where maybe filmmaking will not depend on the government solely.
Yeah, we have been living in the shadow of these authoritarian regimes in this region, these strong but really distant fatherly figures. And somehow on the way we lost our rituals of togetherness and grief. And I think one of the reasons why I want to make this film is an attempt to rebuild some of these rituals and some of these connections that we've let fall apart. And that's one of the reasons why I want to include cast members from our co-producer country, Romania, a neighboring country whom we have this like complex sibling-like situation. Sometimes we want to get at each other's throat, and other times we have this brotherly, sisterly love towards one another. I want to bring these emotions into the rehearsals, and I want to hopefully draw upon the experiences of grief and family strife of the cast members and myself, so together we can bring this project fully alive. Because I think you have to live these emotions, you cannot just invent them. I told you at the beginning I didn't know how to fix the fighting in my own family, but I think through this project and with the help of Mark and his journey, I think I learned a bit more that you have to rip open these old wounds, but then you have to show a lot of tenderness and devotion to properly heal them. And I think my chance to show this is through this film. And this chance is once in a lifetime. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So where is the mic? Kruno already has question. Kruno or Adam? Adam. Okay, Adam.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your pitch. For share with us your so personal story. And do you plan to stay entirely with Mark's point of view, or in a certain point at the end, maybe we look the family through the eyes of the dead father?
Very good question. Yes, I do tend. So I intend to start with Mark, be close to him at the beginning, and I imagine the camera slowly gaining more freedom. So around the middle of the film, the camera is looking around in the room, and at the end of the film, the camera has almost complete freedom floating around, maybe even leaving the scene where this argument happens, sort of like evoking this feeling that not only the father is there, but also like this whole history of the family. I don't know if I answered your question. Thank you.
So maybe connecting to that, the point of your story that I connected to the most, and then, you know, when you really made me feel something, is when you talked about the memories, about the father and how they, how Mark connected those memories to the clothing items. But I'm really curious about how you're going to convey that to the audience, those memories. Is it going to be through dialogue? Is it going to be through some visuals? Is it going to be through flashbacks? I connected the most when you talked about those memories, but in a visual sense, in the movie, how are you going to make the audience connect to those memories and to Mark and his father's relationship?
Yeah, again, a good question. I don't intend to do any flashbacks or any sort of that thing. There's the presentation of the clothes is a pivotal scene. Mark sort of unveils what he put together, and he starts explaining why he chose them. And soon this argument erupts, and then the camera kind of like looks around. I think as important as these memories are, I think the feeling that they evoke in the members of the family and this whole like strife that sort of like breaks out, for me, is more important. So I don't intend to like go back into the past with more than, you know, what they bring back, because their reactions, I mean, it quickly turns into you know, a complicated dialogue between many family members and even outsiders. So it's gonna be, I think it's a very emotional moment for me. It was emotional to write it, and I've had the chance to show it to people, and they also connected to it. But I don't intend to visually go more into that than seeing the clothes and seeing the reactions.
Thank you.
No, who is now Florian or Rimante?
Is there some music in the film?
I never imagined having music during the film. I have this song stuck in my head. It's a Hungarian song from the 70s,
Okay.
and partly because of the lyrics, I never actually listened to those kind of songs. But it's a very strong. I don't know. Somehow it's just connected to the film. So I believe that it will only go under the whatever you call it, like the end. End credits. Thank you so much. Difficult word. And other than that, I think it's mostly going to be sounds of the house. That I have a fabulous sound designer, and I sort of want to create this like atmosphere of the house. There's a lot of dialogue, but there's also very important moments of silence, which is never silence. And I incredibly enjoy layering these sounds and creating sort of an atmosphere, and also maybe making the house into another character. This is shot in my, you can't really see it, unfortunately. But I mean, this is shot in my grandma's house. It's my granddad's suit. And I feel like that also channels a lot into this film. And I want to like bring back these sensory effects through the sounds.
Thank you. And the last question from me about the partners in Romania. What is your connection, relationship with them? Did you work with them before?
Actually, the Romanian producer is coming from Berlin because he was studying with her before. So
yes, we actually studied together in the US, and she's a fabulous director and producer. She cannot be here, unfortunately, because she's expecting her second baby. So yeah, we have been working together before, and I mean, this has also been a journey that we shared for more than a year now. So yeah, I've known her for 15 years.
Thank you.
Anybody else? We done?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So just leave the microphones on the chair. Thank you. Now we move to Greece. And the project title is The Killing of an Angry Student. And dear Evangelis Dikopoulos, writer-director, is with us.
Imagine this. We see the back of a big guy, intimidating guy, walking down an alley. We hear a voice saying that violence is like a fire burning through your chest, and when this happens, it wants to burst out at any cost. The big guy that we're watching reaches the end of the alley, turns in the corner and stops. In front of him, we see 4 young people with full face masks, and everyone stays still for a second. And then the group attacks the big guy and start hitting him. We hear the voice again saying that when this fire happens within your chest, when your heart is rising, when your mouth is dry, you think of one thing and one thing only. A guy detached from the group, holding a stick in his hand, stands above the big guy lying on the ground, looks direct in the camera and says that the only thing you want when you feel this fire is to breathe. And he hits the guy in the ground. This is Panos, a 17-year-old student, and is our protagonist. My name is Vangelis. I'm a writer-director from Greece, and I'm here to present my project. Killing of an Angry Student is a 14-minute action drama inspired by true events. We follow Panos, who tried to cope with the loss of his best friend, Pantelis, while he's been accused of his demise. Panos comes from a low middle-class family in Athens, Greece, in 2010, and while his parents are there, they are not actually present, meaning that Panos thinks, who faces also some anger issues, thinks that he cannot be loved. So his full focus is with his friends, with his buddies, with his best friend Pantelis, and with their crew, their gang, like they used to say it, guys with similar backgrounds and temper, who used to fight their way out of their problems, and who used to fight with similar gangs like them. They never bully, they just fight guys like them for dominance in the regions, their neighborhood, and their school. They used to take record of this stuff, videotape this stuff, in order to upload those files within the prime internet and share it with their classmates to prove that how great they are in their minds and to feel a little bit of love, which they lack, until one night in a rendezvous that they gave with another group from another neighborhood, something happens, someone calls the police, some events take place, and Pantelis is killed. And Panos, his best friend and our protagonist, is now left alone, accused for the death of his friends, somewhere between social worker offices, juvenile courts, his home and his school, while his anger issues continue to intensify. Killing of an Angry Student is a film about anger, about juvenile violence, about kids that want to be loved and don't know how to do it, about Panos that tries to cope with his anger issues, and about my friend Pantelis. The film will be shot in 2 timelines that intervene. The past will be shot in VHS, mini DVs, and film by the cameras that the kids used to record themselves, and will be vibrant, will be quick, will be fun, will be colorful. And the present will be shot in digital, in high contrast, and in close-ups. The tone of the film will be fast, will be quick, and the music, which will be a mix of techno and vintage cassette sounds and rock, will set this rhythm, while we see also some slice of life moments, especially from the boys. The film, the question rises is why a kid ends up in this situation. And that's why the film will not end in the juvenile court when we will learn that Panos will be convicted. Will not end when we see that in the night of the event, Panos never killed his best friend. The film will end when the authorities in the incident, in the place of the incident, will found one of the records that the kids used to record their acts, and found a tape which will show a last clip some hours before the events, when all of them will be in a diner having time that and discussions like the boys have, and be happy. With currently we're in the stage of pre-production with my producer, Ioanna Bolomiti, a very established producer in Greece, with films, short films and feature films screened in major festivals like the Venice Film Festival, like Berlinale, like the Sundance. We are applying for funding from the Greek Film Center and National Broadcast Television, and we're expecting results by the end of September. And I'm working with an amazing DOP, and the most of the crew is in place, and the same applies for the actors. I know that working with young actors can be challenging. In my last film, I worked with actors in the same age range. The film was screened in the biggest short film festival in Greece, the Drama International Short Film Festival, and received an award, and had some other screening also in Greece and internationally, including countries like Canada and Czech Republic. And I really hope that through the end of this film, I will be able to shed the light on the life of these boys and convince myself at the end that their lives were not meaningless. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vangelis. And where is the mic? Kruno wants to start. Yeah.
Thank you. I see that you already have a strong directorial vision for the film, but you described it as an action drama. So I'd like to hear you talk about the action part a bit more. Where do you see it coming through? And why do you think part action film is the way to go with this story? So yeah, just a bit more about the action part, because I didn't really sense it in the way that you talked about the story.
Thank you for this. Yeah, basically, like I mentioned, we watch two timelines in the past. When we will watch the kids, we watch through their lens when they record their deeds. So we will see some raids while they attack other crews, while they attack other gangs, while they try to beat them down. The violence will be there, but will be visible, but not in a brutal way and in very. We try to, because these shots will be handheld, we'll play with this a lot, we test it a lot, and yeah, I mean, we see 3 of those raids, so this is where I was thinking the action part is coming.
Thank you.
Florian?
Maybe to continue on this, how do you envision the editing of the film and the intertwining of those two different times and media?
We will see the tempo of the film will be quick. We'll see various mixed media, and we'll go into this media one by one, and we'll get devoured like Panos, our protagonist, loses his thing as the film progresses. I want to mix some quick tempo and some slice of life moments in a way like with reference from films like Larry Clark or Safdie Brothers, and make it quick and make it vibrant and make it very absorbing, but in the same time keep this real life and slice of life moments which I want to help us connect with our two protagonists.
Anybody else, or we're done? Okay. Thank you, Vangelis.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I still haven't said your name. Where are you going? No, I'm waiting for you. So, the next project is Croatian project. Its name is The Shallow Sea of Crne Gore, and we have Noa Nikolic, producer, with us.
This one? Yeah. So, hello everyone. My name is Noa Nikolic, and today I'll present the film The Shallow Sea of Crne Gore, or for my fellow Croatians, Plitko more Babe Dore. Unfortunately, the director couldn't be with us today as she has a rehearsal, but I'll do my best in presenting this film. It's a short fiction film with an estimated duration of 10 minutes. Right now, I would like to ask you to imagine a scene. You're at a beautiful beach, just like this one, in the southern part of Dalmatia. Everything is pitch perfect. The sky is clear, the sea is clear. You just look at the island, no one bothers you. And then all of a sudden, you hear a sound that is not supposed to be there. And you turn around and see a giant truck with construction gravel ready to be poured down onto the beach. That is the opening scene of the film. And then when our central character, Crne Gore, sees the truck, she decides to stop him and just lie down in front of him and not enable him to pour down the construction gravel. Crne Gore is somewhat of a local legend there. She is a woman in her 80s. Everybody knows her. Everybody respects her, and some are even maybe afraid of her. So the truck driver, Miko, leaves his truck and tries to persuade Dora to move. He also knows Dora. He's the one who is actually a little bit afraid of her, but Dora doesn't budge. Dora is just lying there peacefully without saying anything. And so Miko is in trouble. He is pressured from his investor. He needs to pour down the gravel, but he cannot do it. So he decides to call his investor, who is pissed off, and decides to call the police. In the meantime, Miko still tries to persuade Dora very politely to move, but to no success. In the meantime, locals start gathering around. They are curious what is happening. And so when the police arrives, the two policemen exit the car. They recognize Dora instantly and try also persuading her very politely to move from the beach. However, Dora doesn't change her modus operandi. She's just lying completely still. And so the police officers decide to move her forcibly. One grabs her arms, one grabs her legs, and they move her from the beach. And as they are pushing her into the police car, other locals, about 50 of them, come to the beach and lie down throughout the entire beach. And so the police officers, when they see the situation, they see that they cannot do actually anything, and so they just leave. And Miko, the truck driver, enters his truck, looks at the scene, and a small smile appears on his face. So when Petra approached Adriana and me with this story, I was immediately drawn to it because it has every single quality that a short film should have. It is contained in one location with a reasonable number of characters, one situation, and Petra is very precise with her writing. It has a beginning, middle, and an ending with no tendency to become a feature-length film. Also, Petra approaches a topic that is really serious right now with coastal devastation and ecology, the topic of sustainability, but adds a humorous twist to it. And in fact, she's emphasizing the importance of resilience, the power of the people, and the fact that they should be the ones who control the public good. Production-wise, we are currently in the development phase. We are still working on polishing the script and have also applied to Croatian Audiovisual Centre's call for funding in March of this year. So we expect to see the results either tomorrow or early next week. And so if that is successful, we will work towards securing co-production funds, currently looking at Slovenia and Montenegro as we share the coast. And they're also, unfortunately, the only functioning partners in the region with the financing. The film is budgeted at 105,000 euros, and if everything goes according to plan, we want to shoot in May 2028. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Noah. So we start with Rimante.
Yeah, I have a mic, so I'll just start.
Just continue.
Just continue. Thank you for your pitch. So 2 questions. One is about the tone of the film, the story, and then the second, if you could tell us more about the professional experience of a director and writer.
Of course. So the tone of the film is actually feel-good, positive dramedy, let's say. And the director, Petra, yeah, that's the thing I forgot to mention, of course. So Petra is mainly the theater, she's a theater actress, but she has directed plays before. This is her first film and has also received awards for her dramas that she wrote. So I believe that all of those things will enable her to bring this film to life.
Kruno. Esther.
Thank you very much. Intriguing story, and it's always nice to see the sea. I would like to know a bit more about you and your production company, please.
Okay, yeah. So I'm 24, and I just recently graduated in production from the academy here in Zagreb. During the university times, I worked with a production company called Hula Hop, headed by Dana Budisavljević, which is mainly oriented towards documentaries. And so I line produced 2 documentaries that had premieres. One had premiere here in Zagreb Docs, receiving the Big Stamp Award for the best film in the regional competition. And the other one had the premiere last year at Tallinn Black Nights in Docket Puff program. I'm currently also preparing my first professional short that is to be shot in 2.5 months, which also receives funding from Croatian Audiovisual Centre, and we are currently waiting for the Slovenian and Montenegrin funds as well. Adriana is my fellow colleague who started Woods production company 4 years ago. Right now she currently has 2 minority co-productions in post-production, which should premiere soon. But she has worked as a line producer on numerous films. She's also a co-producer of the film White Wash at 90, which had its premiere at Kotbus last year, and it will have its Croatian premiere in Pula in a month. And yeah, she also has some other films that she worked on with production companies like Kinorama, headed by Ankica Urić-Tilić.
And Krunovan.
Hi, thank you for the pitch. You've explained the why now very well in the context of the Croatian tourism. It is a theme that we need to talk about more, and definitely a twist to the seaside comedy or dramedy. But I want to know what your vision is as far as what do you want or who do you want the audience to connect to? Like, is the center of the film Dora, Miko, or the location, really?
Okay, so Dora is definitely the central character, the one who starts a revolution, we could say, who inspires the crowd to take action. But the character that actually changes or that has the most conflict is Miko, because he's the one of the locals. He values the beauty of the sea, but he also has a job that he needs to fulfill, because he's pressured by his investor to pour the gravel. And the big problem with the gravel pouring is that it destroys the microorganisms in the shallows. And so the fish actually have nothing to eat. And so the little fish disappear, and then that is actually connected with the big fish not having anything to eat. They migrate, and so the biodiversity in the Adriatic is killed. So I think that Miko is definitely the character that changes the most, or that has the most internal conflict throughout the film, but Dora being the central character, yeah.
Thanks.
And Adam.
Hello. My question is a little bit analog to the last one, because the film clearly takes the Dora's side, and so it's clear. But have you considered the possibility to introducing more ambiguity or complexity into the characters, into the conflict, to not, making the conflict so black and white?
Yeah, so we are still polishing the script. That is definitely the possibility. However, when Petra wrote it, it's very, very precise in what it wants to say. The fact is that the devastation of the coast is pretty like the locals have no say in it. So I wouldn't say that we are in some kind of a gray area with the conflict in itself. I think it's very black and white that the investors are coming and destroying the coastline for pure profit and just massive tourism that they want to, raise their profits every year. Definitely, I mean, we have multiple characters, and I think their internal conflicts are main here, as Miko's conflict, for example. But I think the biggest conflict of all, like, is it good or bad? I think there is no place for ambiguity here.
Thank you. Thank you, Noah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're going to move to Serbia, and we have there Lora Đolić, writer and director, and the title of the project, 2 Peach Juices.
It is a hot summer day, as if the sun has fallen from the sky and got stuck in the concrete, that kind of hot. 2 12-year-olds, Marta and Sofia, are alone on an open road in the middle of nowhere. What are they doing there? Firstly, they are inseparable, so where one goes, the other follows. Marta is a well-raised child. She's confident, kind, and neat. On the other hand, Sofia is a bit neglected. She's a wild kid with quick mind and constant stupid ideas that Marta usually follows. But this time, it wasn't Sofia's idea to be here. The 2 of them escape the city to find Marta's father, the man she has never met. She's determined to find him. The only information the girls have is that he owns a roadside restaurant. In order to do that, Marta lies to her mother that she'll be spending the day with Sofia and her older brother, while Sofia's parents are divorced and barely communicating, so Sofia's mom thinks she's at her dad's, and Sofia's dad doesn't really care where she is. So for her, it's easy to escape and hard to understand why would anyone want to meet their father in the first place. But she follows Marta because that's what best friends do. So they found themselves in unfamiliar surroundings, convinced that there is no one braver than them. In the middle of the journey, Sofia gets her first period. For her, it's a frightening experience. She's afraid she might be seriously sick because she actually doesn't know what menstruation really is. No one has ever talked to her about it. Marta is a bit more educated on the topic, so she tries to calm her friend down, but at the same time rushes her so they can reach the restaurant faster. This whole situation creates a strange tension between the girls. Nothing feels right anymore. They're in unknown places, the dark is setting, and they should probably be scared. But the 2 of them are not cowards, so they continue going. Then they finally reach the restaurant. And the man they are searching for, he is there. Marta is his spitting image. She looks just like him. And there is no doubt that he recognizes his daughter. He has a face of a warm and kind man, a face of a good father. So he looks at his daughter for the first time ever, and she's so grown up. He looks at her, and then he turns around and he leaves, this time in front of her. So Marta and Sofia do what most of us do when rejected. They sit at a bar and they sip their drinks, 2 peach juices straight. So I plan to shoot this film from the girls' point of view. So the camera should be close to them. The world we see must be the world they see or rather discover. So in this approach, their journey should have a feeling of discovery, spying, and play, but also fear and growing anxiety about what awaits them in those unknown and open spaces. And what should be really scary for the girls are the sounds. So strange nature sounds, insects that are following them, buzzing around their heads, and a distant airplane which should accent the emptiness that surrounds them. When they reach the restaurant, in the end, the perspective should change. This is the first time we will see the girls in an extremely wide shot, which we should see that how small they are in the space they have found themselves in and how much they do not belong to that world. And in this way, I would also like to emphasize the importance of their journey. In the last scene, when they sit at the bar, I want to be, again, close to them. I want to finish this journey or this drink alongside them. So my producers couldn't be here in Zagreb today, but I have a team of 2 people who love this project as much as I do. We are at the early stages, so the script is finished, the core creative crew is collected, and we are just starting the financing process. The film funding situation in Serbia is currently very difficult. All national film funding calls have been completely stopped for the last 2 years, and we think there will be no new call this year. So we are looking for partners and co-producers, especially in the regions, so Croatia, Slovenia, Montenegro, North Macedonia, because the main filming location is the open road. It can be adaptable to other parts of the region. And our estimated budget is 22,500 euros. I have experience with working with children and preparing them for acting roles. I know how much time, preparation, and trust that process requires. I want to find 2 real-life friends because the girls need to give the impressions that they have known each other for a long time and that they would not have set out on this journey with anyone else. So writing this script started from a memory, but the process reminded me that we are shaped by the very bravery of childhood, by asking questions and demanding answers, by being scared and continuing anyway, and by having wild ideas again and again. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Laura. Now we're going to switch to the jury. Who would like to start first? Raise your hand so that I know. Florian, where is the mic?
Thanks for the pitch. You already started to say a few things about it, but what is your personal, your own experience that connects you to this story, especially?
Yeah, I was the friend. So I went with my best friend. She has never met her father, and one day we heard, I cannot remember even where, that her father owns some restaurant. We weren't even sure that that is like his name. She never met. He probably like left when she was a baby or even before that. So I went with her, and period thing is also personal, but I would not like to talk about that. So yeah, it's a very, very personal experience. Yeah.
And can you tell us a bit more also about your background?
Yeah. I'm originally a scriptwriter. I finished academy in Belgrade for that, and I have written several short student films. I worked also as an editor for the children program in Belgrade, in Serbia's national television and in theater. This will be my directing debut, and yeah, I'm a scriptwriter.
Kruno?
Thank you for the pitch. The coming of age aspect and the visual really fit the story you're trying to tell. But I would like to know more about the ending. It's now clear to me that this was inspired by real life, but as a scriptwriter, you can change the real life as much as you want to. So if you could just talk about the ending and I don't know what feelings or conclusions you want the audience to walk out after seeing the film.
Yeah, I already changed the real life story. I mean, that was the beginning, but like in my real life, that man wasn't there. So I inserted him into the story. I think like maybe it seems like the main emotion would be like disappointments, but I don't want that. I don't want like, I want some like strong, like a confident feeling in like those girls that they are not like aware now, like right now they are disappointed that they should be like just, okay, I just want to finish this drink and go home. But later on in life, like when she's 27, like I am now, I want like her to reflect on that and be proud of herself. And for the audience, yeah, I think like the audience should also be proud of those girls. If you're asking me that, maybe I didn't answer correctly to the question, but like their journey is really long. So it starts in the morning and ends when the night falls. So at the end, it's not really about whether her father accepted her, but like about the whole day that they went through together. So, yeah.
Not about the destination, but the journey.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't want to say that in that way, but yeah.
Thank you.
Who else? Rimante.
Thank you for the pitch. I have to be honest that I found a bit complex this moment of the period, which is, I guess, a very important event of the girl's life, and then the disappeared father. So I think it's like really kind of complex, those two important events. So this is just the comment from my side. But I have a question about the question, actually. What could be the central question of your story, if you could say in few words?
Well, the central questions is the question of identity, I think. Because those are, I chose the age of 12 because that's like a moment before we become like teens and come into puberty, and when those questions appear, like who are my parents, or who are those people who claim to be my parents, because like we started at that age to question ourselves that things. Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else? No. Yes or no? Esther.
Thank you very much for the pitch. I really like also the girl friendship aspect of it, and that you're not afraid to tackle something like period, which is almost always left out in films, as if it was not an important moment in every woman's life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Now we're going to move to Czech Republic, and today with us we have Sava Dolomanov, writer and director, and the project's title is Time, Space and Everything in Between. Both are okay? You just take one.
No. It's work. Okay, cool. Okay. Hi, my name is Sava. I'm a film writer and director from Prague, and today I'm presenting Time, Space and Everything in Between. A few years ago, I was attending a wedding of my close friend, and I saw joyfulness and happiness all around, but at the same time, I felt some kind of sadness and anxiety and the fear of time passing too fast, and this feeling of getting older. Exactly the same feelings my main character Yulia has. Yulia is 29 years old, and she's going to marry her loving partner. Yulia is intuitive. She's irrational. She looks like a girl from 19th century. She wears very simple dress. She wears no makeup. She's very beautiful, and she's very intuitive girl. And before the wedding, Yulia is going on a pre-wedding trip with her brother Alex and their childhood friend Leo. Alex is he's 28 and he's a kind of rational guy, very masculine but in a gentleman way. He's very supportive. And Leo, he's total opposite. He's a mess. He's a drunk all the time. He's a kind of wears old clothes, worn out, and he's the kind of guy who's stuck in his puberty. He's 16 years old or something like that, even though he is 27. So all of those characters meet in one car for a journey, and from now on in the film, we intertwined this journey with the archives where we see them as a kids, like old footage from the old camera tape. It's like a memory. While driving in the car, they all seem to be very carefree and happy, but at the same time, we kind of feel that Yulia, that something eating her from inside, that she's not, something is there. She's not quite ready. Something is going on. And on a small suburban gas station in the middle of nowhere, Yulia has an emotional breakdown to Alex, revealing that she feels older. She feels that she feels this anxiety about getting older, and this fear comes to her. Also, she's not quite okay with Leo present in the car because many years ago that they had an affair. Alex is stunned by this information, but at the same time, he remains calm and supportive. And the road leads all of them to the place they've all forgotten. It's a small suburban village they all grew up in. And the village looks like ruins. It's all demolished. And as they go through the village, it looks like a place frozen in time. And the memories of their childhood starts kicking in. As they go there, they see the demolished village that didn't survive the time, and also the nature who survived the time and didn't care about anything. And at some moment, they're lying on the grass, enjoying this summer melancholy mood, drinking wine. And at some moment, Leo is getting closer to Yulia, and Alex sees this, and he thinks that Leo is gonna kiss her. So he confronts him, and they fight. They fight really hard on the grass, and they're running through the field and ending up in the lake nearby where they used to spend time when they were kids. Cooling down the emotions and feelings, they dive deep into the lake, and also they dive deep into the memories of them as children. So in the end, in one brief moment, they become children again. And Yulia is ready to take a new chapter in her life and accept who she is, basically. This is a film up to 20 minutes, and I have observational camera, so we closely, very close, step by step, going toward Juliet and going inside of her inner world, revealing it. And the very important thing for me is the structure, basically in the editing. Because the film has memory kind of structure. In the end of the film, we can't say what was before and what was after, but it's all like glimpse of a memory look like. It goes like a non-linear structure, basically, of the film, which is very important because it highlights the theme of time and memory and how it works in our mind, how we perceive it. I have wonderful cast and wonderful crew. The cast, they're young actors who are pretty well renowned in the Czech Republic. And the crew, we have worked on my previous short film Silhouette, which has been shown internationally and won some awards. And financially speaking, we are estimated, we have 40,000 euros. And we are looking for additional 20,000. We were supported by South Moravian Film Fund and Zlin Film Fund. And this is a co-production between FAMU University and 8 Heads Productions. I think, let me think a second. Yeah, I think I didn't forget anything, hopefully. Okay, now I would like to show you a short teaser It's very short, don't worry, so you can get the mood of the film. Thank you.
Pamatuješ si, když jsme byli malí, tak jak jsme si dali takový ten slib?
Nepamatuju.
Že budeme vždycky držet při sobě. Přijde mi, jako kdyby to vůbec nebylo nějak skutečný. Jako kdyby prostě to celé bylo jenom nějaký úplně strašně hezký sen, jako...
Jak my se pořád někam honíme a ten strom to normálně mrdá. Jule bylo vždycky trošku labilní.
Drž hubu, ty vole, je to moje ségra.
Jakože prostě asi někde existuje nějaký jako ráj, takže to prostě jako bylo nějak ono, no.
Já stejně nemůžu uvěřit tomu, že už se vdáváš.
Tak čas, viď. Platí to.
Thank you, Sava.
Thank you.
And now we wait for the jury. Who would like to start? Glorian.
Thanks for the pitch. Maybe you can talk about the timeline a bit more, as it is co-produced with FAMU. Is it a graduation short, or like I want to know more about this?
Yeah, it's my graduation short. It's my master film, basically. I'm in the editing department, and I'm finishing this year, or like next year. So yeah, it's my graduation film, which was we're producing. The FAMU is the main producer, and we have like co-production partners. It's 8 Heads Productions. So yeah.
So you already shot some sequences?
Yeah, we made some camera tests and also some scenes to test it. And some of the shooting is ahead of us.
And when do you need to finish the film?
Well, actually, basically, we would like to end it till November 26th. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
And I have a question related to the producers or co-producers. So you said that you're looking for co-producers. Sorry, in which positions you would see the partners coming in?
Well, actually...
if not financially, of course.
Yeah, well, that would be nice. But as well as for us is very important also post-production and also music, so composers and sound mix and, well, we have some of those positions, but we are open for any new suggestions, and if any of co-production company would love to come aboard, we would like to discuss possible opportunities for post-production. Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Thank you.
And also maybe I mean maybe I shouldn't talk about that, but also some distributors or sales agents also welcome.
Hello. A question about your character, Jules. How is the name of the main character?
Yeah, Yule. Yes, Yule.
Mm-hmm. What makes her a unique character rather than simply a woman that is afraid of the future or a growing older? So, what is the particularity of your main character?
Well, it's a really good question because actually, and also you're referring to my target audience, which is from 20 to 35, and also young women as well. So on the one side, for me, it's very important to make Yule understandable for many young people and for women as well. And also, I know, like, I have many friends who are like her. So I mean, when writing, I just take something from their lives, I mean, from their behavior, etc. But at the same time, the main it's like from one side and from the second side, she's pretty unique in the way how she sees world and feels world, because I feel like we are in a very hard times, and all of us need to be stronger and harder every day. But at the same time, there are some people who feel sensible and they are very sensitive. So in this way, her really uniqueness and this kind of poetic sensibility that we can feel throughout the film with her.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sava. Yes,
Thank you.
yes, thank you. And you can live. Yes, thank you. So last but not the least, we come to the Lost Boys. The project comes from Cyprus, and we have dear Christos Artemiou, writer-director, with us. Yes.
How do I change?
Next.
Hello everyone. I'm Christos. I'm a Greek Cypriot filmmaker based between Athens and Cyprus. When I was a child, I was obsessed with Peter Pan. I wanted to be like those boys in Neverland who live on an island of adventure and don't grow up. And years later, I found a real version of that island. As I was living in London, I started working as a go-go dancer at gay circuit parties and festivals. The circuit parties are large international gay events. More than just parties, though, they are spaces where gay men share a collective Dionysian experience of freedom and pleasure and community. They are euphoric and they are accepting of everyone and they are beautiful. But they also have a darker side. Our story begins in the early 2000s. Peter is 18, no longer a boy, but not yet a man. He loves making pancakes with his 12-year-old sister Aria, and he has frequent fights, arguments with his father. Peter is restless. He's angry and he's unable to feed into the idea of what his father wants him to be. So the film begins in the middle of another one of those arguments between Peter and his father. Furious, Peter packs a backpack and leaves. Before he exits the front door, though, he waits a bit for a moment for his father to maybe react or say something. But his father, he just sits on his armchair in front of his television with his back turned to Peter, pretending that he does not care. His little sister tries to make him stay, but Peter leaves. He spends that evening on the streets where he meets a boy around his age who takes Peter to a party called The Island. When Peter enters the party, he is overwhelmed. He has never seen so many men together in one place, dancing, flirting, half naked, sweaty, confident. He's taken backstage where he meets the go-go dancers, and he's immediately pulled into their world. He takes ecstasy for the first time, he dances on the stage, he has his first kiss, and he bonds with the other boys. And as the night goes on and the partying continues, Peter feels like he has found his tribe, his place. But the paradise slowly starts to crack. The boys keep taking more and more drugs, and the partying is no longer euphoric. It becomes dark and exhausting. And so one of the boys overdoses and collapses. The others help him and take care of him, and he manages to come around and get out of danger, but Peter is shaken. And when one of the boys mentions pancakes, Peter is reminded of his sister and of his home. So he tells the other boys he has to go, and he leaves. But when he reaches his family house, it's the same house, but it's almost unrecognizable. There's weed overgrown in the front yard, and the house is unkept. And when he tries to open the door with his keys, the keys do not fit in the keyhole. So he knocks, and the door opens, and there's a woman in her 30s standing there looking at him. And Peter is like, "Who are you? Where is my sister? Where is my father?" And the woman hugs him and says, "Peter, it's me, Arya." For Peter, it was just one night. But Arya tells him that he has been gone for 20 years. He takes him to the living room, and there he sees his father. He sits on his armchair in front of his television with his back turned to Peter, exactly like the last time he saw him. So Peter moves closer to his father, and he sees that he is now an old man. He has had a stroke, one side of his body is paralyzed, and he is unable to speak, he can barely move. And Peter is there, still 18. His father looks at him, and he struggles to say the name of his son. Peter goes to his father and takes him in his arms. As a go-go dancer, I traveled around the world, from Tokyo to New York. I met thousands of gay men, and I realized that as gay boys, wherever we come from, we share the same experiences. We live our childhood and teenage years in rejection and shame and secrecy and loneliness. And then we spend our adulthood trying to make up for lost time with thirst for life and a hunger for love and acceptance and a strong need for somewhere to belong. Lost Boys is about families, the families we are born into and run away from and then still need to go back to, but also the families that we find and choose for ourselves. Our budget is 65,000 euros. We already have 35,000 from the Greek Film Center and 5,000 from the Onassis Foundation. So we have 40,000 already confirmed. We are looking for the remaining financing of around 25,000, as well as partners and producers from Europe. I have an amazing, very talented cinematographer whom I've worked with on my previous film, my first short film. And I'm also working with two passionate and young producers whose recent feature won an award at Venice Film Festival this year. So to wrap this up, I want to say that as a child, I wanted to be Peter Pan. And now, even though I know that a part of me will always stay young, when I left my Neverland and returned back home, I felt more complete. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you, Christos.
Sorry, can we, it's zoomed in. Thank you. Sorry for that.
Thank you, Christos. We come to the jury. If they have any questions, who would like to start? Who? Florian?
Do you have any visual references for the film and any film you are connecting with to bring it to the screen?
Yes, I like the style of social realism, so handheld camera, moving around, also like close-ups, and I like to use telephoto-lessons because they allow me to have the camera away from the actors so they're not distracted, but I've been very close to what they're doing. And I wanna create a distinction between the outside world and the world inside the party. So inside the party, it will be kind of Bertrand Madicot meets Andrea Arnauld. I don't know if any of these names say something. So not, it would be realistic still, but from Madicot I want to take the queerness and the exuberance and the colorful lighting and everything. Yes. That's it. I don't know.
Thank you.
Who wants? Esther.
Thank you for sharing also this very personal story. Can you tell us a bit more about you? Is this your first short film? Have you been working on other films?
It's my second short film. My first short film began its festival journey last October. It has already won several awards around in Europe and the US. I'm working on the script of my feature film, which will be Lost Boys and will be kind of set in the same universe, but I will tackle different thematics there. Yes.
Thank you.
Adam. Or Imante. Sorry.
Sorry. I'm just curious to know the title of your first short film that you mentioned that you had.
Prelude to a Supernova.
Okay. I know that film. Yeah, okay. My question is actually about the emotions that you want the audience to feel and stay with after the film.
The emotions. I'm not sure I understand the question, but I want the audience to basically I'm addressing gay kids like me, like I was, and because I noticed that we are becoming lost in this kind of perpetual adventure sometimes, and it does not allow us to mature emotionally. So I want them to actually see themselves and, yes, like, I don't know, like the emotions.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And I mean, about the narrative, and because now I see from what you told, that it's kind of like two parts of the film. So one is this big party, which is very important also role in the main characters' life. And then the second part, like coming back home. So, I mean, what is more central part of the film? Is it the party or this coming back home?
I would say that emotionally is the home part. But the party will take a more central part in duration and also in Peter's journey, because that's where he understands about what he feels about his home and his family.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now Adam.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
How do you think to make the 20 years jump cinematic and not just symbolic in your vision at the end of the film? How do you want to convince the audience that 20 years passed? Apart the father is old, but it's just symbolic, or?
I guess it's just symbolic. Yes, because it symbolizes what not just gay kids, many men and women go through the Peter Pan syndrome of emotional immaturity throughout adulthood. So yes, I guess it's just symbolic. So it's by the appearance of the house, the sister, the father, the reaction of Peter and his family when they meet again. Yes.
Because you told us that the beginning is at the early 2000, no, more or less.
Yes.
So we can recognize clearly the time of the film, and then the end we recognize that.
Yes. We will have like the television will be an old television. Okay. When Peter packs his stuff, he packs like a Discman. So yes, we recognize the era of the film, and then we return back is the 2000. It's our time now.
Our time.
Yes.
Okay. With all the set design is contemporary.
Yes. The house is
clearly changed.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Christos. You can leave it here, and we came to the end. So. Big applause for everybody who pitched today. They were really amazing. And probably notice the bags, stories created with heart. You can take home. It's also one of the presents. I treated nice participants and I spoiled them a bit. But the stories created with heart, it's important. Because the moment we cherish every year during the Let's Pitch Some Shorts is the moment when a filmmaker enters the cinema and perhaps never has said his or her or their story out loud, but leaves the cinema knowing that somebody believes in it. And I've been often asked, why do I insist so much on organizing such events, and in particular focusing on short films. Every career needs to start somewhere, and I believe today when it's really chaotic, but also in the film industry and on a European level, we're kind of moving away in terms of the funding of the short film, and they're very important for emerging talent, because this is the future of our European cinema. And I also like to echo that we need to treat the emerging and young talent with the same care as any established filmmaker already has with his success stories. So I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being the part of this edition. Also, I want to thank to Roshi, because without her, those stories change, the titles, the genre, the audience, everything. So you made an amazing job again. The jury members who will have a difficult task with all those awards here. And above all, you audience who had patience and time to support all of them today here. I also want to thank the Hyperprodukcija. I'm sorry, I don't know your nicknames, but nobody introduces you with your real names. I want to also thank my fellow students, Blaž, Greta, and Katarina Zrinka, the team from cinema, Nina and Johnny. They are hiding behind, but without them, we also wouldn't have this beautiful cinema. My dear all partners in crime and all beautiful partnerships that developed this year, I really would like to also continue, and we really need to enhance more the support for the short film. Now it's time to eat, believe it or not. So audience can go, but I kindly ask the participants, the jury, and Roshi, and my dear colleagues Sabina, Daniela, Alex, for the joint photo. Audience, test the nice food. So see you in a bit in the bar. Thank you. Hey, I'm sorry, I forgot. There will be announcement of the awards. I understand that you've been already here for some hours, and we understand that maybe you won't be able to stay with us, but please enjoy now for the moment the food. If you can, stay also for the awards. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.